And the beat rolls on. Week 4 of the NFL season. We got Chicago versus Detroit in Chicago. Now, I'm happy for Detroit. I really am. They've got an offense that can move the ball at time to time with, Calvin Johnson and Kevin Smith, and Matthew Stafford's making strides. But, it's looking like a letdown game, and I really think Chicago's going to blow Detroit out. So I'm going to say 12 confidence points in Chicago to beat Detroit. That's really all I got there. Cincinnati at Cleveland. I continue to like this Cincinnati team quite a bit. These last 2 weeks, they got involved in tough games and pulled both of them out. And, a lot of props to them. And this Cleveland team is, man, it is bad. I've had a chance to watch, I think, 1 or 2 of their games. It is so bad. I mean, we make fun of Jamarcus Russell for playing poorly, but Brady Quinn and Derek Anderson are right there with him. Right there with him. 14 confidence points in Cincinnati. I give them my full confidence to win this game. Indianapolis, Seattle. I'm going with 11 confidence points in Indianapolis. Sometimes you can just see the writing on the wall, and the only reason I didn't put more points is because, well, actually, really because it's in Indianapolis. Sometimes it feels like Indianapolis plays better on the road. I know that sounds weird, but it seems like they do that sometimes. Giants and Chiefs. Maybe a little bit of desperation for Kansas City, but I am going to go with the New York Giants to win handily. 13 confidence points. I really just think that Giants team, once they get a little bit of a lead on you, can just run the ball, pound the clock out, and end up beating you by a lot, because they usually don't let you score garbage points. It's tough, and usually they'll be scoring points near the end because they run the ball well. Moving on to... No, we're still in the early games. What am I saying? New England and Baltimore. It's a scary proposition to go against this New England team, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Patriots in New England, 1 confidence point. I really think that if Baltimore does their thing, they'll win, regardless of what New England does. As long as Baltimore plays their game, they'll win. That's kind of how I'm getting from this game. But this is a game that I would love to be able to watch. I won't be able to. Hopefully I can stream it or something, but it's going to be intense. And I think after this game, if the Ravens win, you'll all understand why I have full confidence in Flacco. If Flacco plays well in this game, people are not going to be able to ignore him anymore. The only thing I'm concerned about is Tom Brady having a big game like Phillip Rivers did a couple weeks ago. That's really the only thing, in my opinion, that can allow New England to pull out the victory. But I'm going to go with the Ravens. Washington, Tampa Bay, in Washington. Thankfully, this game will be nowhere near my TV come tomorrow. I guess I'll go with Washington to bounce back. I mean, it wouldn't terribly surprise me, but Washington just has a lot more talent than Tampa Bay. They really do. If Washington loses this game, I mean, if I was the fans, I would just completely revolt. I would, storm the field and do something bad. Come on, get mad at this team. But Washington, regardless of what they did the first couple weeks, they're so much more talented than Tampa Bay. They really are. Tennessee at Jacksonville. I do think this Tennessee team is done, pretty much, but I think they still might pull some upsets down the road, still might beat some good teams. I just don't think it'll be enough. And I think it's going to start here. I think they're going to beat Jacksonville. I'm going to say 7 confidence points. Oh, and by the way, for Washington, Tampa Bay, 6 confidence points that Washington wins. For Tennessee, it's going to be 7. And if they lose a couple more games, are we going to see Vince Young? I think we should. See if he's grown at all. See what's there. Might as well. Houston versus Oakland in Houston. 8 confidence points in Houston. This Houston team really doesn't have a defense. I don't know if it matters against Jamarcus Russell, but I'll say that Houston has a spectacular offense, and Andre Johnson should do enough damage in this game to win. So I'm going to expect Houston to win pretty convincingly, 8 confidence points. Buffalo versus Miami. I'm just going to assume that, even though don't think Buffalo is very good, they have a weak offensive line, they have more injuries coming up, but I'm going to have confidence in the fact that Chad Henne's not going to be good. 9 confidence points in Buffalo to win in Miami. Maybe that's a little too much, but I'm pretty confident that Chad Henne can get knocked around a little bit this week. New Orleans versus the New York Jets in the Superdome. 2 confidence points in the Saints. This is going to be a great game. I'm going to get it on TV and watch it. Ultimately, I think that the Saints' home field advantage will be huge in this game. The Saints have one of the biggest home field advantages in this whole league. The Jets are missing 2 cornerbacks. That's going to be huge against a team that really knows how to pass the ball. I think the Jets might be getting Calvin Pace back. Maybe that might not be till next week. No, wait, it was a steroid suspension, so that means he's not back yet, which is even more reason to pick the Saints. I have big things in mind for this Saints team, and I say that they win. 2 confidence points just because I know the Jets are really good, but I like the Saints here. Dallas and Denver. In Denver. Oh boy, this is going to be good. And, you know, people are throwing Denver kind of under the bus. They really don't respect this Broncos team because of who they've beaten and how they've beaten them. I'm going to say that regardless of who they played, I don't care who they played, I think that defense and running game is legit. I think that defense and running game can get the job done against good teams too. So 5 confidence points in Denver. I got to be perfectly honest. I'll give you that Denver's a week 3-0, but I kind of think Dallas is a week 2-1. Look who they beat. And realistically, look at that defense. That defense has not looked good this year. They got Tampa Bay raped them. Tampa Bay was driving up and down the field on them without problem. The Giants threw all over them, and they did well against Carolina, but, you know, Carolina's a pretty bad team themselves, so I don't see how Dallas is a strong 2-1. So I'm going to say Denver, 5 confidence points. And moving on, we have San Francisco in San Francisco playing the St. Louis Rams. 10 confidence points in the 49ers. I only went a little... I would have gone higher, but I want to be a little careful because, you know, they don't have Frank Gore. And you never know with things like that. But I'm pretty confident the Niners will win anyway. 10 confidence points. Pittsburgh and San Diego. Another upset pick for me. I have 3. Baltimore, Denver, and I'm going to take San Diego. I know Pittsburgh has to win this game. Pittsburgh is desperate. Pittsburgh is... They have to win. If they don't win, they need to start thinking about vacation plans in January. But I think San Diego still has enough talent to overcome that. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh won, so I'm going to go with 4 confidence points because I know Pittsburgh is desperate, but San Diego, I think, is a more talented team. So that's probably the biggest upset pick I have, and I actually put some on the money line here because Pittsburgh's a fairly heavy favorite, and I'd recommend you do the same. Finally, Minnesota versus the Green Bay Packers in Minnesota. You know, once again, no disrespect to Green Bay. They are a good team, and they could certainly win. But they can't protect their quarterback. If Rodgers gets time, he can destroy that Minnesota secondary, but I don't know if he can get time. So, coupled out with guys like Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin, I say Minnesota wins. I have 3 confidence points, and that's about it. So, I'll see you guys later. Gonna be a fun weekend of football. I'm getting the Jets-Saints game, the Broncos-Cowboys game, and the Hawks-Colts. So that is good football, plus Pittsburgh, San Diego, and Minnesota, Green Bay. So, that is pretty good. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow.